Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Afrocentric Woman. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for liking the video as you come in the room. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for sharing the videos with your friends, people who need the information, and with your favorite social networks. Appreciate you. Let's talk about it, y'all. They say that this guy has transitioned on. Love B. Scott. I know Love B. Scott is not the biggest news outlet, but they do be getting the tea and they do verify sources. So I'm gonna go ahead and um believe Love B. Scott. It's also on Revolt. Here, Revolt. Now, Revolt is wrong for this coffin. I don't know who set this up, but they wrong for that. They know that this man is not already, I wouldn't think that he would already be prepared in a casket. Like, they wrong for this. They wrong for that. But it's on Revolt. It's on which channel? Oh, okay. This is a local 107.5 FM. It's on here. They're saying 56, 57. I don't know how old this man was. I don't believe Kevin Samuels is dead, for the record. Blah, blah, blah. But me not feeling bad doesn't mean I'm celebrating it. Yeah, okay. So that's them. And who's this? This one is, that one's a Love B. Scott. And this is News One. And News One is saying that it's unverified. So we'll just assume he's gone. These ads are just too much. Self-proclaimed relationship guru and image consultant who better known for divisive misogynistic commentary about Black women in particular has reportedly died. However, the reports of Kevin Samuels' death that flooded social media timelines everywhere offered no immediate verification that the 56-year-old died, as his faithful followers demanded proof. As a result, Samuel's name became a trending topic on Twitter Thursday afternoon as people tried to sort out the facts. Yeah, I think people are still trying to sort out the facts. I'm gonna just go off of Love B. Scott. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna see if they've updated this page. Last was updated at 6:05 p.m. Pacific. Let's see if there's any updates on it now. It's thinking. But, I know from my perspective, it just, this is a Generation X situation. People are saying that he's old. They're saying that, he was older, but I'm like 57 or 56. It should be like midlife or just a little past mid life. You should have a lot of good years after that. My grandfather's in his 80s and he gets around great, you know. He gets around great. He drives, he does everything he wants to do. He travels. He's also married. So, there's a difference there, but I don't think that, you should still be having a full life at 56, 57 years old if you take care of yourself. Um, I don't think that these Generation X males are going to make it to be like elders. Many of them are dropping off before they get to eldership, which is like 70s. That's really when you get into your eldership, mid 60s, 70s. They're not making it. I'll tell you something that I noticed a while ago with this guy. Hey everybody that's in the chat, thank y'all for tuning in. Hey, hey, hey. Okay, Selfish says all of his collaborators have confirmed. Okay. What was the cause of death? Did he hit the wall? Well, if he didn't hit the wall hit him. Okay. Um, I'll tell you something that I peeped about him a long time ago, and I wish I would have saved the video. And now I can't find it. I don't know because I don't follow him. I do not watch his videos. I've only seen it in a clip, and I thought it was very interesting. And I remember running it back. There's a video of him, and he was talking to a woman, and the woman said that she was in recovery for, I think, alcoholism. And so Kevin started asking her questions. You know how he's so stupid? He was so stupid, and he would always try to sound smart. He always tried to sound smart, but he was just such a dumb male. And he's asking her these questions about drug rehabilitation. He was asking her questions about working her program and sobriety and being accountable with a sponsor. And he said, I used to be a drug counselor. That's what he said. He's used to do everything though. He used to be a bouncer. He used to be a top salesperson. He has an engineering degree. He's just he was a pathological liar and a malignant narcissist. And so he lied again, and he said, "Oh, I used to be a drug counselor." He's always just making up. He was always just making up stuff on the fly. I knew that he was lying. I knew that he was not a counselor. He was actually on the receiving end of services. So the reason why he had knowledge, he had a cursory knowledge of like drug and alcohol counseling questions. He had at least some general idea of the mechanics, sort of like what makes up drug rehabilitation industry, as far as having a sponsor, going to meetings and being accountable and checking in, things like that. And on the fly, he was pretending to be a counselor, but I was like, no, 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 no. Actually, Kevin was the one receiving the services. I knew that. And I just knew it. He was an addict. He was an addict. I could hear it in the voice. And he's pretending that he was a counselor. No. Most people who become sponsors, because he was pretending to be a sponsor, most people who are sponsors are addicts in recovery. Okay? Most people who are drug counselors are addicts in recovery. Now, you do have some people who are drug and alcohol counselors who just went through maybe schooling and they got a degree in it, or you can get a certification just depending on which state you live in. But sometimes you can get a certification in drug and alcohol counseling. Or I don't think it's a specific term, because it's not licensed. There are some services that you can provide that do not require licensure, just depending on which state you live in. But he's full of crap. He didn't have a certification in drug and alcohol counseling. He didn't have that. He wasn't a counselor or a sponsor. He was he was an addict. And I don't think he was working any type of recovery. I think that he was using. And another thing that I would observe him doing was he would down these energy drinks, Red Bulls. He would drink 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Red Bulls. He would drink Red Bulls back to back to back to back. And I'm like, this guy, he wasn't even fazed by it, because I think that was into stimulants, and I just don't think that the Red Bulls were doing anything for him. They weren't do like, most normal people would be on edge. They would be jittery, and they would be really reacting if they had 2 or 3 Red Bulls, even 1 Red Bull, even a half a Red Bull, and he would just drink them like, and I've never seen him drink any water. I've never seen the man drink any water. I only saw him drinking Red Bulls. So, that gave me an idea about his issues with stimulants, and just listening to him pretend to be a drug counselor, I knew he was full of crap, and I knew that he was actually probably forced into a program, probably due to some type of run-in with the law. Everything is going to come out. This is the age of Aquarius, and I predicted this months ago. I said, his male partners are going to come out. I believe that now that he's gone, his children can speak their mind. His ex-wives can speak their mind. They can tell what was really going on. Now that they don't have to worry about, um, now that they don't have to worry about him, intimidating them. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make a GoFundMe for this guy's funeral. I can probably guarantee you he does not have life insurance. And if he was using what I think he was using, which I'm going to assume he was using cocaine, it's very expensive. I don't know if he was using Adderall. I don't know if he was using, I know he was using stimulants. I don't know, but I'm allegedly, I'm alleging. Well, he's dead now, so it don't matter. I can say what I want. He's not going to sue me from the grave. I assume he was using stimulants. Atlanta is a huge cocaine city. Okay, look at Stevie J, look at Benzino, look at all these men who have wasted their lives away behind cocaine. You know, I want to I want to do a whole thing on Benzino on later on another day. These males squander so much money on cocaine. They squander so much money on substances. And they pretend that they're so distracted from what is the real problem. The real problem is not Black women submitting to you. The problem is you submitting to your addiction, your various addictions and your various substances, not taking care of yourself. You're so busy. This is the analogy that I had many years ago. This was the spiritual download that I got way before this YouTube channel, was that, their hands are around our neck, and they can't do anything for anybody because their hands are tied and their hands are around our neck, right? So you can't fight anybody, you can't be productive, you can't create anything, you can't protect anything, you can't do anything because your hands are tied. Where are your hands? Around Black women's neck. That's the imagery that came into my mind. So while this guy is spewing hatred, he couldn't go to the doctor and get an annual exam. Couldn't get an EKG, couldn't get his blood pressure checked, get his prostate checked. These unhealthy, overweight, hypertensive, gout infested males circle jerking online, wasting everybody's time, can't go to the doctor, can't do anything productive for themselves, don't have health insurance. They won't even sign up for healthcare.gov. They won't even apply for Medicaid or Medicare. They wait until there's an emergency and they go to the emergency room and abuse the emergency room. They abuse the emergency room because they won't go to the doctor. They don't have anybody looking out for them because they hate family. They don't have anybody helping them book appointments, and they damn sure won't do it for themselves. You have to love yourself to go to the doctor. You have to love yourself to take care of your health. Narcissism and addiction are a terrible combination. It's very hard to treat narcissists when they are addicts. It's very hard. They're very arrogant. They don't want to be humble. They don't want to submit to the process. They don't want to um what is the word? They just don't want to work the program. They think that they're invincible. They think that they could use uh, to their heart's desire. One thing that we do know is that when these struggle bandits get money, everything in their life gets worse. Nothing, and this is why the high value uh, phenomenon or the high value philosophy is a moot point, because it's just solely based, it's just a construct that has been so perverted. I don't use that terminology because it just doesn't mean anything anymore. I mean, by the time I came onto the scene, the terminology was already rendered useless. Doesn't mean anything anymore. High value doesn't mean anything what it used to mean. High value just means I'm a man, therefore I'm better. That's it. It doesn't mean anything else. So when they say high value, high income, poor character always equals destruction. It always equals death and destruction. And we've seen it play out time and time again. We've seen it play out with athletics. We've seen athletes, think Michael Irving, think, some of the guys from that generation, you know, what's his name? Iverson. Okay. Drugs. Drugs took them out. Substance abuse. Squandering resources. Not investing anything into the future. Living a fast life. Poor character. Poor foresight. None. And will I cry crocodile tears? No, you make your bed, you lie in it. And I said this the other day when I was on the other podcast. I said, this is not, black women have to get out of the way and allow them to stand on their own 2 feet. And in this case, stand 6 feet under. Lay 6 feet underneath your decisions. You don't cherish life, then life will leave you. This is a spiritual reckoning. I noticed I am so off feminine wise. And so when this news came, I was not surprised at all. I wasn't surprised at all. I should have known something was about to happen. I was so off. Like my body had totally reset, and I'm like, what's going on? Why am I resetting? The moon cycle was just totally resetting, and I'm like, what's happening here? Yeah, it was a reset. And the things that need to be revealed about this degeneracy are now on full display. Another thing that I've talked about on my channel is that it's just so unfortunate that people give people a pass in death for the horrible things that they do in life. Well, I just don't want the person to die. Well, think about the people who are getting abused. Now it can stop. Think about the people who have been getting tormented by this demon who walked the earth. This demon walked the earth and pillaged. How many do you think how much money do you think should have been going to child support that was going to this struggle bandit? How much money do you think was diverted away from black children? How many Tyrones do you think stole out of their grandmama's purse to give to this man through super chat? Living in their grandmama's basement. How many credit cards, how many grandmama's credit cards do you think got stolen and money got diverted away from black women and children to support a cocaine addict? And you want me I'm not crying tattoo tears. I don't cry tattoo tears when any of them meet their demise. I don't care. I feel no ways. I'm not happy. I'm not sad. I don't care. I know that there are other bandits popping and cropping up. I know someone is going to attempt to fill this void. I know someone's going to try to buy the channel. Do you think that this guy has any of his financial it's going to probably be pretty chaotic. I don't see him probably he probably doesn't have any type of business structure. He probably did not have a power of attorney. He probably doesn't have a living will. I'm sure it's all a mess because typically drug addicts don't think about that. They don't think about getting your business affairs in order. So it was probably going to be pretty chaotic over there. I don't even know how much money would be left though. They spend money fast. He's probably, spending money on escorts, spending money on drugs, living above his means, not thinking about tomorrow, traveling first class, staying in luxury hotels and Airbnbs, splurging on designer this and designer that. I'm sure there's really like not all that, like, there's not that much money left. And I know it's hard for people to fathom how fast money can go. It's kind of hard to fathom. You're like, well, how could you possibly be broke if you're bringing in, five or $10,000 in super chats a day, or how could you possibly be broke? Cocaine is a hell of a drug, and cocaine ain't cheap. Neither is Adderall. Neither is the rest of the shit he was doing. Okay, that stuff is not cheap. Not cheap. Living in luxury apartments and traveling first class, that's not cheap. All those things cost, and if you think about it, if you're indulging in these things every day, it's like the money will go through your hands like water. It's like, what they used to say back in the day, you got a hole in your pocket. Got a hole in your pocket. I don't think that black women should be shamed into offering any type of compassion to this demon who walked the earth. And the reason why I say that is because this individual is connected to the New York train situation. This individual is connected to the the black nurse up in Maryland who was taken off of this earth. There's so many demonic entities that were inspired by this demon. And you want black women to have some compassion. The thing about dying is what it is. Dying is neutral. It is neither good nor bad because we all have to leave this earth one day. Dying is not virtuous. Dying does not entitle to a created legacy, fathom just created out of the blue. Dying does not entitle you to reverence. Dying does not entitle you to respect. Dying does not entitle you to humility. It doesn't entitle you to compassion. It doesn't. Because the deeds that you do on this earth are the things that determine how you will be remembered. The relationships that you develop and the good things that whatever it is that you inspire in people. Do you inspire people to go into a train and take people off of this earth? Or do you inspire people to do something positive? I have seen people cry tattoo tears over struggle bandits that, for example, from a city like Memphis. Do you know what the murder rate is in Memphis? Do you know what the drug use is in Memphis? Do you know that the elderly people in Memphis are trapped in their homes? They can't sit on the porch. They can't do anything because of the violence in Memphis. Do you know how many parents have buried their children in places like Memphis due to lean, due to Percocets and all these opiates? Do you know how many people have buried their children due to substances laced with fentanyl because they heard in a song to pop a perk and pop a molly? And do you know that the people who create this type of rhetoric that inspire these children to go out here and do these drugs and to kill one another, and you want me to cry a tattoo tear when they go? Why? Why would I do that? Do you know how much murder, destruction, how many funerals have happened? How many mothers cry themselves to sleep at night because their baby overdosed? Listening to music that's telling them to pop pills. And they have sown so many beefs in the streets. Oh, this set in this corner is against that corner, and that corner is against that corner, and whatnot, and carried this on for years. And then when this person gets taken off the earth, now they want to talk about what a great dad he is. Yeah. So he wants to be a good dad to his children, but how many children have passed on due to his influence? What about those children? What about all those thousands of families negatively affected by the product that this person produces, by the persona, by the music and the programming that this person puts out there? I feel no ways about it. I just don't see how humanity didn't lose anything by losing this person. We don't lose anything. Yeah, your individual family may be feeling it, but I'm talking about humanity as a whole. Humanity as a whole doesn't need you creating music that encourages youth to abuse drugs and to kill one another. That's not valuable. It's just so interesting how people want to erase everything bad that someone does simply because they transition on. How many Generation X guys have left off of this earth due to poor health and substance abuse? How many? Talking about black women need to lose weight. Well, there's an obesity issue. And don't want to grapple, they don't want to grapple with their substance abuse. And it's not, I will not lift a finger to do anything. My hands are full with black women and what we have going on. I wouldn't lift a finger. Not my problem. Black Rob is gone. DMX is gone. The other guy, or is it Michael something, the one who played in The Wire? Out of here. In their 50s. These guys are leaving in their 40s and their 50s. Out of here. There's so much more to be revealed. Everything, a lot is going to come out. I hope that black women don't feel like they have to be shamed for not giving a care, for not revering this individual or speaking kindly about him. Like he's not he's we don't owe him kindness. Why? We don't owe him kindness. He's very destructive. Very destructive. He had a very palpable and concrete negative effect on an already failing group of males, and helped lower the already low self-esteem that some black women had. It was already low, and he worked diligently to lower it further every day, day in and day out. His mission was to cause chaos and destruction. Very demonic. I'll drop a link to see if anybody has anything that they want to share. Um, let's see. Yeah. Comments. There is the link. Oops. See, I want to pin this. Come on, StreamYard. Let me pin it. Erg. It's not letting me pin the comment when I want to pin it. There we go. Replace pinned message. Darling Ebony says, in everything, there is a feminine and a masculine principle. In my personal belief, the divine feminine is not to be trifled with. Yes, the thing, you're right, Darling Ebony. And the thing about all these things happening, things being revealed, people getting slapped that need to be slapped, all these things happening, and most of black women aren't even on the same page. This is a minority of us that are on the same energy, that are on the same frequency. And look how powerful we are. Look how things are moving. And we're not even all on the same accord. It's just it's a lot of us who are on the same accord, but we have not met critical mass at this point. And look how things are moving. Imagine where we're going. I think that it's time to prepare. Continue to prepare and stay tapped in to that energy of prioritization of ourselves and restoring order, restoration of order. That is the name of the game. A restoration of order. And this is just something that needed to move out of the way. Recently, he was explaining how, um, I think he was explaining how a man can like, look at his stepdaughter, his teenage stepdaughter, get out of the shower, and the mother shouldn't have a problem with that. And I was thinking to myself, this guy doesn't have a bottom. He doesn't have how low he's willing to sink. He doesn't have a rock bottom. It will just keep going until he's out of here. That's what I knew. That's what I said to myself. He's going to keep reaching new lows until he's out of here, either in prison or in the grave. And looky, he made it to the grave. Because sometimes they'll continue to be, they'll continue to be destructive even behind bars. Because of the nature of his abuse mechanism. It's through uh, sort of like philosophical influence, media influence. So he would still have access. If he would have gone to prison, he would have still had access to continue to negatively affect people and cause harm. So really, the only way that he was going to stop was to meet his maker and to be 6 feet under. Yeah, I think that some women are not built for this. They're just not built to grapple. Okay, there's a part of femininity that needs to protect life. Okay, you got to tap into that. That will allow you to be selective with your compassion. I can be the most empathetic. I'm super sensitive. I really am. I'm very sensitive. I cry all the time. I love people. I love Black women. I love children. I'm a totally sappy, soft, sweet person. But I'm very selective about where I direct that kind of energy. I don't feel like I'm owed to do it to these types of demons. Like I don't feel like I have to I don't feel like I would owe them any type of compassion because you reap what you sow and you have to be worthy of that compassion. What would you have done to earn it? You know, maybe a baby is entitled to compassion because they're just on earth being a baby, totally innocent, have not done wrong. But when you wake up every day and you intentionally plan to do harm, can you imagine him in one of these Airbnbs or wherever was trailing and squatting and dragging his suitcase from pillar to post and actually getting a whiteboard and a planner and a calendar, and he thought out how can I disparage black women? And he had a plan, and he had a whiteboard, and he was thinking of different topics and what would be sensational, what would be, hurtful. And it was just all so intentional, right? It's not like you just, accidentally did, hurt someone's feelings, or you just accidentally were an ass. No, you woke up every day committed to being a destructive person. Every day you made the choice to do it. Could have turned around at any point in time. Could have said, "Oh, I got, some money. Let me ride off into the sunset and stop doing this. Let me put this money, let me buy an apartment building and retire." Could have done that at any time, but you just wanted to keep on doing it. Just wanted to keep on being destructive. And it's not as simple, and this is what I wanna make sure that I drive home. It isn't as simple as saying disparaging things about Black women. The big negative effects was the violent aspect. Like, we have no idea how many women were getting hit because of someone that they were connected to was listening to this information about domestic discipline and about slapping women and all the sound effects about, slapping women and, like being confrontational to women, which can definitely escalate into physical altercation. We have no idea how many women and children have been harmed due to this rhetoric that's been going on for the past couple of years. How many young girls, 13, 14, and 15, are getting plucked out of the school by some pedo because this guy and people like him say that, women at 25 are geriatric and you have to get them as young as possible. How many males did he embolden to go and abuse girls and children? Because this was an everyday degenerate philosophy that was being enforced every day. The pedo stuff, the violence, the hatred of women. And it's just like, it's not just hatred of women and that's it. I don't like you. No, it was a sort of like, you are property, and you are here to serve me, and I'm entitled to you. And if I'm entitled to you, that means I can take you off the earth. That means that I can argue. That means I can steal from you. That means I can mess up your credit. That means I can take from you. That means I have access to your children. I can abuse them too. I know it sounds a little bit far-fetched, but that really is the ideology. If you sit down and you listen to the types of people that do these things, and when they justify why they're doing what they're doing, or why they felt entitled to do what they did, a lot of it it falls back to these beliefs and these philosophies. And this person spearheaded a lot of that. A lot of these ideas, these degenerate ideas about, women being a resource, and, um, women don't deserve anything and you need to share a man. I wouldn't say it was anything new, because I'd heard a lot of that stuff before, and I think that a lot of that degeneracy is like interwoven within, aspects of the Black community. But what this guy did was he just took it and he just amplified everything. And instead of it being the underbelly and sort of like this negative undertone, he brought it to the forefront and said, no, this doesn't have to necessarily be an undertone. This is okay. This is actually the right way. And all you need to do is to get on board with this. and then you can have a piece of a man, right? Let's see, dark skinned gentleman says he was the source of bad marriages. Oh my gosh, yes, he was. Yes, yes, he is connected to the New York subway situation. And I know for me personally, like I know I noticed maybe it was a good thing or maybe whatever, however way you want to put it, but I know for me, um, once he rose to prominence, there were certain guys, like when I was dating, more of a variety of men, like I was dating some black men, I noticed everything went down once he came up to prominence. So it kind of was like a catalyst to like get me away from them. And like I said, there were some African guys weren't that bad, several years ago. A lot of the African guys weren't too bad, but once they started getting a hold of that dusty degenerate rhetoric, they became just as bad as the African American guys. And so they just all had to kind of, be eliminated out of the pool. But I'm just saying, I myself noticed a direct impact. It's just, you already have a group of men who are failures and suck at relationships. And then you have this guy gassing them up with really, really bad behavior. And then they're going out into the world and wreaking havoc onto the world, onto women. That's what I noticed. It's like he poured gasoline on a fire. Everything that was bad, he just added more fuel to the fire, made everything worse. I can't think of anything positive that this individual, nothing. I can't think of anything positive that this individual has done. Even in his personal life, he was a failure. Neglected his children, didn't wasn't paying child support for years, couldn't never live in his truth about his sexuality, didn't have the courage to live in his truth. I can't think of anything positive. Made a failing group of men fail worse and sink further into degeneracy, caused so much confusion with just double talking and contradicting yourself and pathologically lying. If anything, for me, I know the worship, how they worshiped him or worshipped him. Maybe they'll probably keep worshiping him. They worship Malachi Z. York. They worship a lot of degenerate, demonic males. Dare I say Elijah Muhammad? Dare I say pedo? You know, pedo. So they'll probably keep worshiping him as he's 6 feet under. But for me, it just shows where is the collective of these males? Like, where is their mind? And I think that that makes an easy choice. It makes an easier choice for Black women to really get an understanding about where's the collective psyche. Because I know I've personally talked to Black women who are still drinking the Kool-Aid, and they'll say something like, "It's just a few bad apples. It's just a few bad apples. They're not all bad. They're not all bad." And then I'm like, "Okay, well, where are the good apples? Where are they?" Can like, you know, if I walk into a room with 100 of them, like, how many would be marriage material? How many would be viable men that you would wanna introduce to your daughter or to your niece? How many of them, where are the good apples? Where are they? Show them to me. Produce them. Direct me to them. Why are they hiding? Why can't Okay, if there are 97 good apples and 3 bad apples, why can't the 97 good apples contain the 3 bad ones? You just don't wanna admit that there are 99 bad apples and it's like 1 good apple, or there are 99 and a half bad apples and a half of a good apple. You don't wanna say that because it's too difficult for you to say. You don't wanna grapple with that reality. I get it. I get it. You're not ready to swallow that pill. It's just too much for you. But if we look at the rise of the prominence, no one was able to contend with that energy because it really solidified where the collective's mindset is and was. And even some of the so-called good apples who were speaking out against him, even they weren't ish. They weren't worth anything. If you let them talk long enough, they're going to start talking about 50-50 and ride or die and black women making sacrifices and muling and all this and that. And black women expect too much. Even some of the ones that went against him, they wasn't worth nothing. They still have the same dusty mindset. Same dusty mindset. They just want brownie points for sort of like going against the collective enemy. Like everybody's always trying to get a bag off of black women. Everybody always trying to get a bag off of black women. And if they feel like saying something negative about this demon who has passed away is going to help them get a bag, then they'll say it, even if they don't believe it's true. Even if they don't believe it's true, they'll be willing to say it because they know that black women are the bag. Black women, the bag. Black women have the money. And there's so many black women who are still looking for validation. They're looking for acknowledgement. They will cling on to any man that's speaking the right speech. You can be gay, straight, it don't matter. Okay? Don't matter. Black women are going to hang on their every word. They don't even have to prove themselves. They don't have to prove themselves. They can just show up speaking that stuff, and there's going to be a segment of black women that are going to support them. And these guys knew that. So that's why I say a lot of the guys who are supposedly, you know, against Kevin Samuels' rhetoric, let them talk long enough and they reveal themselves as well. I've seen that time and time again. They reveal that same dusty mentality that the rest of them have. It's just they dress it up in a different way, but it's still a dusty mentality. Oh, wow. Really, Lover Girl? Wow. It's like their pastor passed away. It's like their pastor passed away. If they crying like that. I think that black women need to just kind of be safe while these males mourn the loss of their demonic cat daddy. They're already so emotionally unstable. They're already so emotionally unstable, so this is just gonna lend to the emotional instability. I would say steer clear, steer clear, try to get out of the Atlanta area if you can. That's probably where they're gonna bury this guy. Try to stay away from the proceedings and, any type of memorial services that they're having. Try to see where those are if you're in the metro Atlanta area and try to stay away from those areas. If you hear a struggle bandit talking about how sad they are that the demon has died, just be quiet. Just don't confront him. Try to create distance, pretend like you don't know what's going on, have a poker face. Don't confront them like, well, let me tell you how I feel. I'm glad he did. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't. Please don't do that. Because these guys are very unstable and they're very violent and dangerous. So you don't need to put on your tombstone that you had the right of way and that you have the right to speak your mind. Oh, she died on, May 17th, 2022. She spoke her mind. Do you want that on your tombstone? You know, it's not worth it. Let them, do whatever they need to do and just keep your distance and do whatever you have to do to protect yourself. I think non confrontation and avoidance is the first line of defense. Avoidance and distance is a great way um, to stay safe. So if you're in the metro Atlanta area, just be aware of anything going on. Be aware of memorials, funerals, and the like, any type of processions, parades, or anything that they might have for this demon so that you can steer clear of that area. Be aware of anything suspicious. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone, call the law, or use your any type of tool that you might have that you use to protect yourself if need be. Do whatever you have to do to stay safe. Make sure you're not leaving any of your drinks or food unattended. Kind of watch where you go because sometimes, like a friend of a friend of a friend, you know, once it starts to get too big and out of control, you don't know people. Try to keep your circle kind of tight. Make sure you know who you're with, who you're hanging out with, and stuff like that. Yeah, dark skinned gentleman says now's not the time to be in Atlanta or Oklahoma City, his hometown. These kittens are dangerous. Yeah, they are. Yeah, I would steer clear of those areas. They're going to be very emotionally unstable. And I don't want any Black woman to get caught up in any of that. I want you ladies to stay safe. And I do want you to feel how comfortable to feel however way you want to feel about it. I mean, I grew up Kojic, but I'm so glad that I am like spiritual now because I don't have that Christian forgive and forget, turn the other cheek. I don't have that burden. I don't have that ideology. I don't believe in that. I don't feel no ways about feeling however way I want to feel. I don't feel like I have to forgive him or any other abusive bandit. I don't feel that way. Ooh, did they take that Love B. Scott down? Let's see. I am not a robot. Maybe that's Uh-oh. I think there might have been a bug on one of these sites. Let's see. Was it the Love B. Scott? Let me see if it's still up. But yeah, let me know if anybody had, if they wanted to come up and share anything, let me know. Just trying to make sure that they didn't take this video down, article down. No, it's still here. And some people are like, I feel sorry for his family. Why? Why would you feel sorry for his family that he tormented and that he neglected? Like, I mean, I don't I don't feel sorry for them. I feel sorry that they unleashed him onto us. That's what I feel sorry for. I feel sorry that this is what you produced for the mama, the daddy, the grandmama, the grandpapa, and the aunties and the uncles. Whoever created this demon that you unleashed onto the world, I feel sorry for that. But whatever you're feeling about his loss, I don't care about that. I feel sorry that this is what you produced. If this is the fruit of your tree is rotten. Why? I feel sorry for his daughter. Why would you feel sorry for his daughter? He's not any type of father to be proud of. If anything, he has relieved her of her embarrassment. Can you imagine the embarrassment that this young woman had to endure with this demon? Now she can be relieved of it. I, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel sorry for his kids. Why? It's really, he wasn't in their life, so it's really no difference. It's not like he was some active, amazing father. He was never an active, amazing father. He's always been an abusive trash bag, a neglectful trash bag. Now they can have closure. So it's one thing to have a living biological father that actively chooses not to be in your life, and also not have any fathering skills, not have any fatherly compassion, not have any fatherly wisdom, not have any fatherly intellect, not have any fatherly energy, don't even have it to give. Even if he wanted to give it, he don't have it to give. He didn't even have it to give. And to know that that person is roaming around, using substances, hiring escorts, doing this, doing that, and not investing into your life as a young person. And it's a difference between not having them invest into your life and then them be 6 feet under the ground. At least now there's a concrete reason as to why they're not helping, because he will be 6 feet in the ground. You see, there's closure there. Oh, you think so? I don't know. Maybe. There's gonna be other people cropping up. There's already lots of males with the exact same talking points. I mean, it's just gonna be like, I think that the thing that set him apart was that he was able to have Black women come on there for entertainment purposes. So that's gonna have to be what someone else does. If Black women, if us, not all of us, but if there's a certain segment of the population that continues to be stupid and they participate with public shaming and, these like rituals, these humiliation rituals online, then someone else might possibly. It's possible. Mm, interesting. Maybe. We'll see. We're at the beginning of this. We'll see how everything transpires. There'll be lots of information that comes out over, you know, um, there'll be lots of information that comes out over the next few weeks, months, maybe even years. Because I mean, maybe he was dealing with other guys who are also on the down low, and they don't want to come out necessarily right away. You never know when they'll feel comfortable coming out and revealing their relationships with him, you know, any of his family members that will feel comfortable talking about things, or his children possibly, or the ex-wives. Maybe the NDAs will be null and void now that he's gone. Who knows? We'll see. I really would like the actresses to come out. The actresses that he hired to go onto his show, I would like for them to speak out. I would like for them to have the courage to speak out. Now, some of those calls were authentic, but many of them were hired actresses. And I want them to come out and expose what was going on. I want them to expose what him and his, I want to say his team, but I really don't think he has a team. I think it was just like a couple of struggle dudes, around him. But I wouldn't give him the professionalism of a team. But whatever him and anyone associated, what did he coach you to say? What did he coach you to say? How much did he pay you? That's what I want to know. How much did he pay you to go on the show and be disparaged and to be entertainment? How did it all work and what did you have to sign? That's what I want. I want all. I look forward to all of that coming out. I look forward to all of that coming out, and I'm pretty sure we'll get the confirmation about exactly which substances were being abused. But I have a pretty good feeling. A lot of people abuse coke in Atlanta. A lot. You'd be surprised. You would be surprised. It starts off, it's all fun and games, you know, nightlife of Atlanta. It's all fun and games until it's not fun anymore. Let's do some lines. Let's go out, and it just gets out of control. Just takes over their lives and literally drains their resources. Benzino, look at him. He's a total disaster. Total disaster. You know, usually usually there's enough of someone for me to kind of like, kind of get a grasp of who they are, and I can kind of understand the way they move and how they move. Um I would say with Kevin Samuels, he was such an empty vessel. He was so hollow inside. There really wasn't anything in there. So it was really hard to attribute any personality or anything on him because he was so empty. He was kind of like he was always imitating something and changing with the moment, making up a lie on the fly. He was just such an empty vessel of evil. Like he was just a conduit of evil. He was so just such a shell of a what a person should be. but he just was like this conduit and this vessel of evil. That's my take on it. Oh, girl, girl, you should join the Discord. Love a girl. You should join the Discord. I have another, yeah. Anyway, I won't talk about that on this particular live. But girl, yeah, you know how they do in Atlanta. You know how they do with all these party favors and stuff. And I think what we see time and time again is that these guys with money are only worse off. Money is not the issue. And this is a very important thing when it comes to this whole ADOS and reparations conversation and a resource conversation, and why I really felt a reservation about that. I could maybe do another video about it, but this idea that black males have of that money is the answer to the problem that they have. It's economic disenfranchisement. That is the big problem. Economic disenfranchisement. We need our reparations. We need help from the government. We need, money from Goldman Sachs. Why do the black women get it? We need money, and 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 they think that that's their issue. When I think that we know, free thinking women know that the mindset is all jacked up, right? The priorities are all jacked up. The sentiment and the innate feelings like you're not participating in community. You're not participating in constructing community. Y- There's just so many destructive forces. And you guys don't love each other. Like I was talking about earlier with the music, all the violence. You don't love yourself, you don't love each other. And you don't love black women. If you give someone like that more resources, it just exacerbates what's already there. Like the problem will just get bigger. And you being self-destructive with $5 a day, if you get $5,000, you're going to be just that much more destructive to yourself. And then you end up leaving this earth in your 50s, 40s, or 30s due to self-destruction, auto implosion. I don't have the answer. I really feel like they are going to have to create the answer for themselves. And there's nothing that black women can do. Black women have to accept there's absolutely nothing that I can do to help you. The best thing that black women can do is to stop helping them. Step away and stop it. You have been doing team too much for too long, and it has only exacerbated the problem. Their only hope is to be on their own and figure it out on their own. I don't have any faith in it. It just feels like a pipe dream. It feels like something that is highly unlikely. It isn't to say that it isn't possible, but it just feels so unlikely given where things are today. But money isn't the problem. The ideology behind it is the issue. What do you do with the resources when you get them? So if black people got reparations today, you know, how many guys do you think would just funnel all that money right back to the dominant, like immediately funnel that money right back to the dominant society because of the mindset. I believe in the concept of reparations. I just don't think that a large, especially the males, they're not in position to handle resources. There's not. They just, by and large, don't handle them well. They self-destruct oftentimes when they have large sums of money. Who knows? Maybe Umar Johnson is next. I don't know. I've said for a long time that was the only way he's going to stop doing what he's doing is if he ends up in prison or if he's in 6 feet under the ground. If anybody finds that clip, there's a clip of him talking to this woman about drug and alcohol counseling. If anybody finds that clip, can you send it to me? Because when I watched that, I just knew. I knew everything I needed to know. I was like, oh, okay. I could tell that he was actually the one receiving the services, not rendering them. I could tell. Yeah, I don't feel happy. I don't feel sad. I feel neutral. It's almost like, like a plant dying. I don't know. I just feel like, okay, that's the cycle of life. I feel no waves. Yeah, I feel no waves. I don't feel good. I don't feel bad. I just feel like it makes sense. For me, it feels logical. It feels like it makes sense. Just because of everything that was happening that was leading up into this, the energy that I was feeling personally and tapping into the collective, to me, it just feels like it makes sense. Like this is the logical next step as to what is happening energetically. This is just a part of what's happening. So therefore, I was not shocked. I was not taken aback. I was just like, "Oh, yeah, okay." When I saw it, I was like, "Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Let me see what's up. Let me verify this. Let me look into it a little bit before I just." But it just felt totally, I'm not going to say natural, but it just felt matter of fact and just like, yep, that's part of the process. And it's time to deal with this and then move on to the next thing. Yes. Yes, a weight has been lifted. This is just this obstacle, and it has been an obstacle. It's been a bit of a distraction. It's been a reflection. It's been a representation of the collective mindset. It's been all these things wrapped up into one empty vessel that has been a conduit of evil for the past several years. And here we are. Here we are. This is going to show us also this um, upbringing that many of us have that kind of causes us to squash our intuition, and it causes us to act, what's the word I'm trying to say? Behave in a certain way, sort of like uh, extending grace because we say it's about being a good person. So we want to kind of like not have any standards or not have any criterion for the grace. Like everyone deserves it. The thing about the people who I feel wrote these doctrines, they don't follow it. It's they write it for other people to follow, especially black people to follow. They want black people to have this nature about themselves. But the same people who wrote it, they hold like century grudges. They hold multi-century grudges against whole groups of nations, whole families, clans, nations, races, whatever, to their benefit, to their own self-preservation. They will hold a grudge to preserve themselves, but they want you to sacrifice yourself and forgive. They want you to sacrifice yourself and turn the other cheek. They want you to sacrifice yourself so that you can, quote unquote, be virtuous. Meanwhile, they're preserving their nation and they're holding grudges and holding certain people accountable or withholding resources or keeping in subjugation or whatever they have to do to preserve themselves. But they want you to be the sacrificial lamb. I mean, I feel like that is being revealed too. That's going to have to be, that's probably going to have to be something that we evolve past, I pray. They are saying that they want to figure out how to coexist with us. That's interesting. Um, I know during my dating time, I dated a guy who he was a black man. Well, I mean, I didn't really date him. I went on one date with him. We talked on the phone and we went out on one date and we talked on the phone a little bit more and then he dismissed himself. Basically, he had a child with this white woman and it was horrible. It was a hot mess. That ghetto stuff that y'all see on who they're like, it was a mess. It was a mess. I think I have some videos about him earlier on my channel when I was talking about I have a video that I was talking about the situation about men not wanting to take accountability for their children, and having every excuse in the book about why they don't want to do something. So his child with the white mother had the mother had entered into a violent relationship where either she tried to stab the partner or the partner tried to stab her. It was just a ghetto mess, a trailer park mess. And the child witnessed this. I think CPS got involved, and that really would have been the best opportunity for him to get his child and to get his custody reevaluated, but he chose not to do that. The reason why he chose not to do that is because he did not want to risk the child support being um, uh, um, increased. So he was willing to let his child stay in a violent situation because he didn't want to pay more child support. He did have a sugar booty essence on him. I'll be honest, I did peep that. And so it's like I can always parallel um, personal experiences and the experiences of so many black women I work with in a variety of capacities to what we are showing and what we are saying is our collective experience of them. But his thing was like he wanted a black woman because his experiences were so bad. And I know I had to think to myself, at first I was like, this is a good thing. And then I thought, is this a good thing? Do I want him back? Should I have to deal with this mess? And what kind of quality person is this if he got the woman of his dreams and he can't make it work? I don't know. I had to figure that out for myself, and ultimately, I noticed that I don't like those men who try to come back. I don't like the energy that's on them. It's like they're broken, busted, and defeated, and they're coming back with nothing but an empty stomach and empty pockets. They're not coming with anything in hand. They're not coming bearing gifts. They're not coming ready to contribute. They're coming to with empty pockets and an empty stomach and a weary heart and tired feet and worn down clothes and holes in their shoes. And they want to rest and they want to lay up underneath you. That's no different than what we've been doing for the past several decades. It's nothing different. So instead of getting on your high horse and begging for submission, you saying you want to lay on the couch and just kind of keep to yourself and be quiet. Essentially, we would be having additional children in our home if we were to allow them back to quote unquote coexist. No, black women have to get some standards, and any man that's coming into your life should be coming bearing resources. I don't take anything that they say serious because they are so manipulative and exploitative by nature. And I have a video called The Making of a Struggle Bandit, and I have seen this behavior in very young boys. I've seen them wear down women. I've seen them wear down their teachers. I've seen them wear down their family members because they're mimicking the behavior of other males that they see doing it. So this type of I it gets instilled in them very early. I'm talking 5 and 6 and 7 years old. Okay? So I don't believe anything they say because of the manipulative nature. I don't believe it. I only believe what I see. So I don't want you to tell me what you're going to do. Show me what you're going to do. And you can't show me one time or two times or even three. Show me over the course of 5 years. Show me over time that you're serious to redeem yourself. This is the thing. We're talking about redemption. You are so in the hole. You are so in the negative. You have toe your ass with black women, okay? You have toe your ass. You don't just get to come and whisper some sweet nothings in my ear and expect me to pop lock and drop it like a real one and you just gonna roll up into my life. No, you gonna have to show me, show and prove. Don't tell me what you gonna do. Go do it. Don't get online talking about you building on a panel. No, go actually open up a grocery store. Go open up a bank. You know, go pay off some of these black women's student loans. Go do something productive. I don't want to hear no rhetoric. It don't fly no more. We're not on talking. Y'all always want to talk. I hope that black women don't fall for that. Oh, well, he's gone now, and I realize the errors of my ways, and I want to work it out. Man, you are so in the hole. It's not that easy. You can't just roll up with that sweet talking and thinking that you're going to get everything that you were getting before. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. It shouldn't work like that, or at least not over here. And there's plenty of women who that it don't work like that no more, especially since you've had a taste of different type of manhood. Okay, when you have experienced a different type of manhood, you definitely don't, and low key you cannot, you just can't revert to media, you can't revert to being in a mediocre situation, in a struggle situation. You just don't want to do it because you know that you could get better. We know that we can get better because many of us have experienced better. Many of us have experienced better. So why are we going to backtrack and no. No way, Jose. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Ding dong, the witch is dead. I don't know why I said that. It just popped in my head. It just popped in my head. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Which old witch? The wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. What's the rest of the lyrics of that song? I'm gonna sleep good tonight. I'm gonna sleep just fine. I'm gonna sleep peacefully. I hope that all of you sleep peacefully, that you are covered in protection, that you find a sense of peace and balance within yourself, that all the avenues of spiritual connection are opened up for you. If you feel so moved to tap into the divine feminine energy that is moving the collective of Black women forward, upwards, ascension, ascending to newer heights, better heights, as we shed all weight that is anchoring us down, that had anchored us down in the past, that we release that weight from our life, and that we are light and we are free, free to pursue our personal missions. May our personal missions feed into the bigger mission, restoration of Black womanhood. We're able to thrive and to expand into our femininity, our beingness, connection. It's my hope for all of you. And definitely that you feel a sense of balance within yourself, that you feel nourished, that you feel loved. You connect with a tribe that feeds your soul, wherever that is, online, offline, especially offline, that you connect with helpful people. You're able to get the support that you need in your life to socially thrive, and that the light inside of you is able to shine bright, and is able to get brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. And that we collectively tap into this energy that is moving mountains for you, Black woman. This energy is moving mountains for you. You just have to tap into it. It is here for our highest and greatest good, Don't be afraid. Tap in. It's for you. It's for you. All right, beautiful ones, go in peace. Go in peace. And I appreciate you. Peace and love.